Please join me in welcoming Dr. Naz Oldham, Program Director, Regional and Aboriginal Pathways from the University of South Australia.
Thank you, Jess. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Marnina Pudna? Hey. All right, good. All right. So my name is Naz. I'm half descended from English colonisers. I'm half Syrian, all First Nations ally. I'm also Program Director at the Adelaide University's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander program. This is fresh, so you are the first who are going to be hearing about this. I will be using notes to make sure I don't flash back to the previous ones, but I hope you enjoy this. So my home is Tatanya, Ungana Yata, and I respectfully and with pleasure acknowledge the Kaurna peoples as traditional custodians of country. Is this my clicker, by the way? Yep, all right. Okay. I also recognise for our online people the custodians of country where you are. In doing so, we recognise their deep connection to land, waters, community and story. It's a connection that extends over tens of thousands of years. I pay my deep respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal peoples. Let us always strive to ensure that we operate in a manner that respects their elders and ancestors. And a note, okay, so I don't know whether you know the excellent scholar Tyson Yunkaporta, but he once laughed that when white fellas do acknowledgement of country, they rarely acknowledge that they have no intention of buggering off. So, as that includes me, I think that I should also acknowledge that to honour Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's cultural connection to country, I must try to be the best ally I can be to support and be of service to the improvement of the future, the prospects and self-determination of Aboriginal people. All non-Aboriginal people live on stolen lands. Sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So, let's talk about the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander program. They are a part of the Adelaide University's preparatory programs, and we believe that university should be accessible to anyone who would like to try it out. AU is committed to providing access to higher education for people from all backgrounds and circumstances in life, and we offer a range of preparatory programs to help potential students gain entry into their preferred degrees. We are enabling educators and committed to widening participation in tertiary education. Enabling programs like ours are bridging or foundational programs that provide opportunities for people of different ages and backgrounds to undertake higher education for those who lack the usual and traditional prerequisites for university entry, and which enable them not just by providing access, but by actively preparing them for success in their future undergraduate studies. Our foundational studies and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander pathway programs provide fee-free pathways to university regardless of a person's educational experience. If a student doesn't meet the usual requirements for direct entry into their bachelor degree, these programs provide alternative entry options while helping them to adjust to their university environment. Once they've successfully completed their program, they're able to transfer into one of Adelaide University's world-class undergraduate degrees. Adelaide University is committed to becoming a university of choice for Aboriginal people. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander pathway replaces UniSA's Aboriginal Pathway program, which I was the program director of for the last 5 years. It is a fee-free program with no tuition fees. A student services amenity fee applies to all university students, which can be deferred through the federal government HEX Help loan scheme. This program is offered also in regional areas and provides culturally aware entry options and tailored study support. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander pathway is split into 3 blocks, which I'll go into now, with a series of entry, exit and transition points that cater to diverse educational backgrounds and chosen destination degrees. The AQF is 5, for those interested in such things, and it's a 4.5 unit value. Each course is 4.5 unit value. So let's have a look. Okay, if you have the booklet, if anybody's got this booklet, and if you don't, and you're picking one up, it's in the centre, okay, centre spread. You'll see a version of this model. What you're looking at here is that there are up to 8 courses that a student can do, depending on the needs of the student and the degree pathway that they're choosing. Block 1 is 3 courses. Block 2 is 3 courses if they're entering Block 2, or 4 if they're entering at Block 2, 3 if they're continuing on from Block 1, and Block 3 is 2 courses. We deliver in the Metro, Mount Gambier, Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Ceduna, and hopefully Port Augusta too. Culturally inclusive curriculum and specific courses are designed by or in consultation with Aboriginal scholars. Now, and I will talk a little bit more about the open access for each block as we go. So let's have a look first at Block 1. Can you see there are 2 arrows? One into Block 1 and one into Block 2. They're the 2 different entry points. So for Block 1, that's for students who have no ATAR or previous qualifications to learn the skills needed for successful university study, or if their confidence is low and they want to be able to pump up their skills. Block 1 courses develop study skills, communication, critical writing and research, and including support in writing academic assignments, referencing, effective time management, numeracy, and also a course which allows the students to study aspects of Aboriginal culture and knowledges. These skills and experiences will create a strong foundation for the student's future at university. On completion of Block 1, students will have developed a comprehensive understanding of the university learning environment. Additionally, they'll be able to communicate effectively in written and oral formats, engage confidently with numeracy, and undertake academic research, and have developed a toolkit to approach and organise their study. Now, students who enter at Block 1 will still need to successfully complete at least Block 2 to advance into a degree, but they can leave there with a completion certificate if they wish. The GPA generated by successfully completing Block 1 guarantees entry into Block 2. Okay, let's get on to Block 2. So, this, if for students who are entering here, this is really for students who've completed Year 11 or SACE, or a Cert 3, or have relevant work or life experience, or, of course, as I said, if they've completed Block 1. So this provides more foundational knowledge and skill development to successfully navigate studying the student's intended destination degree. And I'll go into the different courses that they can get into for each block. But these courses develop critical thinking and foster an understanding of university and career pathways while developing further foundational knowledge and skills in the student's chosen discipline. By successfully completing Block 2, the students can advance to a university degree. And by this, I mean they will be guaranteed access to a range of accepting degrees, which will be most of the Adelaide University degrees, noting that some undergraduate degrees may require minimum GPA to qualify. Students wanting to get into one of our high-demand degrees, though, will need to also take Block 3. So Block 3, you can't enter there. You have to have done at least Block 2. But this is designed as a pathway for students wanting to enter into those really high-end degrees. And they're able to apply selective undergraduate degrees based on their GPA and take some of those courses for credit to prepare them. Okay, so the high-demand competitive degrees have traditionally included things like law, secondary education in the education discipline, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, exercise and sports science, midwifery and speech therapy in the health discipline. All of these, which were previously provided by UniSA, remain open. We're currently negotiating, as in currently right after this, we're going to negotiating which of the University of Adelaide degrees, the extra ones that we have access to, that we can also advance to. So I don't have an answer yet for medicine, dentistry, or music, which would typically require an audition. So, and for those who are already aware of it, the University of Adelaide's biomedical pathways will continue into Adelaide University, but these are outside of my purview and the scope of today's presentation. So, quick recap. Open access, supporting students with no previous qualifications to learn the skills needed for successful university study. Fee-free, with a small SAF fee. Nested model, with 2 entry and 2 exit points. We believe that we can make a mid-year entry possible now, which was not available previously. It's culturally responsive pedagogy. There's a dedicated Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander program tutor as the main port of call for students throughout the program. It's delivered in 5 regions. The courses are a 10-week delivery model. It aligns with key Adelaide University academic calendar dates. It will be, at the moment, 1 block per semester, which would take 18 months to do all 3 at the moment. If we move to a trimester, though, that means we can do all of it in a single year, theoretically. There is capacity, as always, for students to study full-time, part-time, online, or in person. And on completion of the program, students will have supported transition into the Adelaide Uni undergrad degrees. So, and by the way, just track me down. There aren't too many NASs at Adelaide University. If you want to discuss it, if you have any students that want to come through and have a visit, we're more than happy to host such a thing. Okay, quick, closer look at what those blocks will entail. There'll be 3 courses for Block 1. Those courses are, at the moment, Foundations of Academic Literacy, so really to prepare the students for academic writing. Numeracy and Problem Solving, and Aboriginal Knowledges, Narratives and Experiences, which is a core course. You can't advance to the next degree without, to a degree without 1 more block from that, but there can be a completion certificate at the end of it. Block 2. Which for foundation studies is known as Unistar, or undergrad cert. So if they're coming in, and this is their first block, they will need to do 4 courses. If they're coming in from Block 1, 3 courses. So they will be The core is critical thinking. There are 2 electives, or if they're coming in, and this is their first one, they will also need to do Aboriginal knowledges, narratives and experiences here too. So, and then for block 3, discipline-specific electives to make sure that the students are really focusing on those higher competitive, higher demand competitive degrees. Some of the electives, this is what we've been able to negotiate so far. Land management, which is quite big in a number of the regions as a pathway, a career pathway for a lot of students. We have Introduction to Human Behaviour. We have Foundation to Education Studies. We have Introduction to Human Physiology. The 3 most popular degree pathways traditionally in the Aboriginal pathway program before this were teaching, health, and social work. These 3 will provide support around that. There is writing for academic purposes for those students going into more demand academic writing. Individual and Society and Contemporary Australia, which is a social sciences course. Digital literacies, which is a great outlet for those students who are creative. Global citizenship in the 21st century and other social sciences, and Introduction to Biosciences. And to wrap up, what are some of the services that are available to our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students? Let's take a closer look here. So we have a swag. The university is really behind supporting its students. So at a base level with their tutors, they have a lot of pastoral and study support, more so than they would at undergrad. We expect a lot of questions. We expect students to be combating nerves. This is all a part of the scaffolding that we do. So basically, if the students are starting off with us being more needy, by the time they leave, they're able to sail into the degree, and that is the point, okay? And we have extra consults for each course. We also have Aboriginal student engagement officers to help at any point in student life. There's also an Aboriginal tutor program which extends through a student's entire life as a student at Adelaide Uni. And they can have a dedicated tutor that they return to that can help them with their studies and their study skills. We have study centres available at each campus. There are many scholarships available. We have expert advisors in the areas of access and inclusion, which can help develop an access plan. There are also fantastic resources for health and wellbeing, and all Adelaide Uni students have access to free and confidential counselling. We also have learning advisors, student mentors, and many more resources. That concludes my presentation for today. Thank you very much.